Wait till you see what's coming up now, dear.
Welcome to the 1970s, the decade of danger. Extreme danger, where comedy roles for women amount to a violent slap in the face.
No, I think I'll see...
When call love a duck means something else entirely.
She does attempt to mate with me, and does actually have an animal orgasm, if that means anything to you.
Where crime and punishment is more like S&M. Where holiday resorts give us good reason to wish we weren't there.
You want to beat up your wife? Bring her here. It's perfectly legal at Sark, providing you don't draw blood.
Where we entrust the nation's health and well-being to the hands of this woman.
Clench, stretch, clench.
I can't believe this.
And where animal cruelty has the animals doing the cruelty.
What did I just see?
Were we all mad, reckless fools? Or was it all right in the 70s? With collapsing industries, spiralling inflation, and the threat of a cod war, depressed 70s Britain looked for vicarious thrills on one of three main channels. For escapism, we were enthralled by watching other people gamble with their lives and defy death. And television delivered this to the millions who wanted to live on the edge, at least the edge of their armchairs. Tonight, we're looking at danger in the 70s. And by that we mean dangerous sports, lethal tools, and deadly performances. We mean the Lions. We're showing some incredible 70s telly to people who were making shows back then.
Well, it still makes me laugh. I'm quite happy with that.
Those who used to watch them, and those who weren't even born back then. We ask whether we should look back on this stuff with a sense of outrage,
Oh, crikey.
or a sense of humour. There was danger in the 70s if you'd done something wrong.
4 out of 5 British schools still use corporal punishment. In many schools, it is an everyday event. In most parts of Britain, teachers can cane infants, girls and boys of all ages up to 18, and even the mentally and physically handicapped. In most areas, children can be beaten publicly in front of an audience of other boys and girls.
It's just what happened. If you were naughty, you were hit.
It was just accepted as part of the culture of punishment at schools, that you would get slippered or you would get the cane.
Use of the cane and the strap remained legal in British schools throughout the 70s, but in the Isle of Man, it wasn't just the teachers administering corporal punishment.
In 1972, a 15-year-old boy, Anthony Tyra, was found guilty of assaulting another boy in the Isle of Man. He was sentenced to 3 strokes of the birch, 3 strokes with an instrument like this.
Banned in the UK since 1948, birching on the bare buttocks was still a threat to young males on the Isle of Man. Residents were indignant that this punishment was in danger of being abolished, in line with European human rights laws.
This is such an important principle to us, the fact that we can lose our law and order, and we do consider that we will lose our law and order in the island if we lose the birch.
Absolutely. We should definitely beat more children.
Do you think it's a civilising thing that you have corporal punishment, that you inflict pain on other human beings? Do you think that's civilised?
It's very deserved punishment, and I think it's an excellent idea, and I think the removal of it would be absolutely disastrous.
Parents ought to chastise their own children, I feel. I certainly chastised mine. I had a number of young ones, boys. I think I can inflict as much harm with my hand on my children's bottom as with this.
Turn round, Rita.
Go on, whacker.
You feel like of course you don't. Enough. I mean, there's nothing. I don't know what all the fuss and bother's about.
Actually, I find it strangely arousing.
The real thing is not quite so cosy.
In this way.
Jeez.
Leave up the other 5.
Good Lord.
Oh, he's got so much pent-up anger, hasn't he? He's got such an unhappy marriage.
I'm assuming they are also at this point dunking witches, because that's the only explanation for this.
A few whacks across the buttocks so this would soon straighten them out.
There's a fine line between discipline and abuse, and I think this pole vaults over that line.
I genuinely think I've just watched a video nasty.
Built firm as the rule,
The Ladies of Man took a hit when the birch was banned in 1976.
Makes us free as thy sweet mountain air.
But elsewhere in the British Isles, there were historic rites that continued on their merry way. In 1970, Nationwide's Bob Langley found that the tide of feminism had not yet washed ashore on the Channel Islands.
Sark is more than just a retreat from the 20th century. It's also probably the last bastion of male supremacy. You want to beat up your wife? Bring her here. It's perfectly legal in Sark, providing you don't draw blood.
Don't sound so bloody happy about it.
Feel like sending her out to work and then living off her earnings? Well, that's legal too. And there's not a thing she can do about it.
That is shocking, isn't it?
Everything she owns becomes automatically his property. And if he leaves her, he can take the lot, lock, stock and barrel. I sat in on a meeting of a group of ladies who are spearheading a campaign to give the married women of Sark the same legal rights as their counterparts on the mainland.
But what actual evidence do you have that women really do suffer in a practical sense? When did your husband last beat you up, for example?
Oh, well, he hasn't yet, but I don't want to give him the chance. He's going to change before he does. No.
But are you aware of any actual instances when women have suffered because of these laws?
They'd be too frightened to say anything if it did happen, wouldn't they?
So in she goes to take the marriage vows.
Why would anybody get married on Sark?
In a short while, she'll be out here again, smiling happily and contentedly. But she'd better make the most of it. It's just about the only privilege she'll have left.
Awkward.
But even on the mainland of mainstream television, wives had to know their place as the butt of the joke.
A fella talking to his mate, he said, I've had a lot of bad luck, he said, with marriage. He said, I wouldn't get married again. He said, I've been married twice. What a bad luck. He said, why? He said, well, first that wife died eating poisoned mushrooms. What about your second wife? He says, fractured skull. He said, how was that? He said, she wouldn't eat mushrooms.
And talking of her indoors, this satirical goodies sketch pulled no punches at 7:10 in the evening.
Nice one. Oh, it's not your machine. It's your powder. Here, you try. New low suds mold. Oh, you should.
No, I think I'll stick...
New low suds mold is the best. Yes, it is.
Oh, crikey. I thought the goodies were cheerful family fun.
Oh my God, he's actually threatening her with a rolling pin.
All right, Joe. It's the best.
New low suds mold, or we send the boys round. Well, it still makes me laugh. I'm quite happy with that. I think that's absolutely fine from every single point of view.
The fact that they were all men against a woman that made it particularly harrowing.
They're a parody of adverts, really, that's all. And added to it, any excuse for me to sort of be violent, I tended to take.
Do you know, there's something completely non-sexist about that, which is the joke is about being forcibly sold something that you don't want. It's just seeing a man threaten a woman with a rolling pin is slightly... But I can completely see it in its time.
Violence of some sort has always been an element in comedy. There's nothing more based on violence than Laurel and Hardy or Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton. They are forever belting one another or getting clobbered over the head.
It's that cartoon style of humour. The best thing about it is that the woman is, a middle-aged woman and not, a Monty Python-style sexy blonde with a big cleavage. I think, in all kinds of ways, this is strangely progressive for the 70s.
But man is capable in many ways of offering a helping hand.
Don't worry, ladies. There were still some gentlemen ready to come to your rescue, like the taboo-busting comedian Dave Allen, who said chivalry was dead. This sketch appeared in Dave Allen at Large, which regularly pulled in 10 million viewers a week.
OK, he's pulling her out for Paul. That is uncomfortable. OK. Now he's taking her into a cupboard. Oh, yep, he's sexually assaulting her. Oh, yep, that's happening.
Didn't like the look of that much, did you?
That is... Imagine the script meeting that that sketch. Do you know, I've got a great idea. Woman drowning, and then I go and rape her in a cupboard. Anyone? Great, let's do it. Oh, my...
If that had slightly different music, it would be kind of a drive-in exploitation film about a serial killer.
Rape. Doesn't make me laugh very much.
Still to come, more 70s danger. Will our daredevil cyclists survive this towering inferno?
Oh, no, some kid. No, don't do that!
Welcome back to the 1970s, where things were dangerous. A hazardous decade for humans, it was even worse for our furry friends. With animal rights low on the agenda, we wanted wild creatures to dress like us, play like us, and sometimes even to, well,
She does attempt to mate with me, and does actually have an animal orgasm, if that means anything to you. Does it?
Yeah, it does, except I don't know how you would detect it in a duck.
Oh, wouldn't you?
No.
Well, I can't explain that.
In a recession combining both high unemployment and inflation, viewers in the gloomy mid-70s needed a summertime pickup. Cue the BBC's primetime entertainment series Seaside Special, whose roving cameras went all over the world looking for holiday fun. Blackpool, Great Yarmouth, and here in Monaco. Sorry, Scarborough.
It's hoppies and rideable mules.
The entertainment on offer drew on circus and fairground traditions.
I say, let's humiliate the animals, chaps.
In this big top challenge, members of the public were encouraged to try climbing aboard bad-tempered mules without falling on their asses.
I'm not happy with this at all, of course. I wouldn't be, would I?
It's a cheap version, really, and a less violent version of a bullfight.
People always say, oh, yeah, but it's the bloke who's getting hurt, isn't it? No, because he's got a choice.
And the mule has not.
If 70s television looks uncomfortable for the animals, it wasn't much better for the presenters. Guest host and DJ legend Tony Blackburn was invited to sing on the show, but maybe not to the audience he was expecting.
I tell you what, shall we let the lions in?
You ready?
Yeah. Shall I just get out of the way?
No, you just stick close to me.
This was not rehearsed. They said it was probably best just to go ahead and do it.
Not really coming out, are they? Good God.
This was the most balmy thing I'd ever been asked to do.
Tony had been asked to sing in front of the most savage panel of Saturday night judges ever assembled on television.
Right, let's have some music, shall we?
The lions have seemingly been placed on stools like a modern boy band.
They really are. I'm coming home, I've done my time. But I've got to know what is and isn't mine. If you receive my letter telling you...
Now, this is interesting now.
There was one particularly, it was that one, I think, that looked particularly vicious.
Tamer's got to keep shuffling around because there's far more of the lions than him, and if the lions were properly coordinated as a team, they could easily kill him and Blackburn.
I'll tell you something about this lion tamer. When we were in makeup, I noticed that he had stitches all down his arm. And I said, how did you get those? He said, oh, one of them got me last week.
See that ribbon round the old tree.
I think it would be difficult to get a green light for a show that involves somebody singing a popular classic to a team of actual lions now.
Now, if they'd have gone for him and eaten him at the end, I think it would have been worth watching.
Roger, dear boy. How's your client coming along?
In the 70s, it seems we couldn't get enough animal entertainment. Strangely, the chimpanzee, 5 times as strong as a man and prone to violence, was the go-to species for top-notch animal fun. This is just one instalment of the longest-running TV ad campaign of all time. In the days before cuddly animal characters could be faked with computers, the only option was to film the real thing.
What you call it? Hair raising? Let's secret chimp.
In 1971, Saturday evening ITV even ran big-budget American import Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp, a sort of Brook Bond ooh 7.
I have the star of Karachi diamond.
Ooh, bring it right here.
Okay, hats off to these chimp actors. Meryl Streep has nothing on these.
$3 million diamond.
Chippy!
To achieve the show's groovy look and crazy antics, animal handlers repeated gestures over and over again, until the chimps couldn't help but copy.
Why did the banana run away when he saw the lion?
I don't know. Why did the banana run away when he saw the lion?
Because it was yellow.
They love wearing sweaters and tiaras and talking on the telephone. They were born to do that. Anyone who would stop them from realizing their destiny is evil.
Soon we will have the most valuable jewel in the world.
Oh, the famous star of Karachi Diamond.
Maybe the trainer is making threatening gestures or holding their babies captive. I don't really know what animal cruelty is involved, but they looked happy. But it wouldn't have gotten made today, that's for sure.
In the UK, the budgets and the animals were smaller.
It's another warm summer's day.
Tales of the Riverbank, a charming, calming and sometimes alarming preschool programme shown in the mid-afternoon watch with mother slot, was eventually sold to 34 countries worldwide.
What can Hammy and Roderick possibly be doing? Whatever it is, they're working very hard.
Attenborough would not approve of this. Why have you sellotaped a gerbil to a Black & Decker? That's illegal.
You couldn't do it these days. They would say it was cruel to mice or something.
Hammy really gets the hang of firing the cannon. This is fun.
Oh. What? What did I just see?
He's having the time of his life.
This is what nature's like, guys. Nature's tough, all right? There was one episode where they asked Quentin Tarantino to direct it, and it all went tits up. I think this is fun. It's great. Now, Carter, this is
awful pest control.
This has upset you, hasn't it? They
killed the rat.
You've got to kill some rats to make kids' TV.
This man was safe. Until now. He hasn't bothered to get the plug changed. From now on, he's in deadly danger.
The dangers of the workplace were probably addressed by law in the 70s.
And anyone who touches him also gets a shock. Fix things properly.
The introduction of the Health and Safety at Work Act in 1974 may also have inspired an era-defining series of gruesome public information films. Ugh. In these, every instance of carelessness was punished again and again with bloodthirsty relish. But in the entertainment industry, the safety catch was off. For instance, this is pensioner Carl Verlander walking a tightrope near Tower Bridge. Anyone spot a safety net? A harness? No? Terrifying, isn't it? How about finding somewhere with peace and quiet, such as the sky, to catch up on your music practice?
Oh, he's in the bagpipes. You heard the bump.
In the 70s, TV presenters had to be prepared to do anything, but not too prepared. That would spoil the fun.
Boy, he's good, isn't he?
Certainly on Blue Peter, I don't recall at any time in my career, until modern times really, that health and safety had been an issue.
We still had Mark and Terry in sight, so I decided to make an all-out effort to catch them. And that was my mistake. The bike started to slide, and in a flash, I was out of control.
Johnny Noakes discovered the fact that neither he nor I nor any of us who took part in the show were insured. Climbing Nelson's column in Trafalgar Square. I mean, health and safety. We never heard of it. Never discussed.
Our cameraman, Terry, was waiting at the top, and he really did have a bird's-eye view of me reaching the worst part of the climb.
Blue Peter daredevil John Noakes risked being caught by the flares and blown to his death, all just to show children how to clean bird poo off a giant hat.
You told me there was overhang, but you didn't tell me it leant to one side. No, that was the awkward part.
Oh, God. It's a long way up, really, isn't it?
You'd think the whole nation was possessed by a spirit of danger. And this spirit was evil. Knievel. The American stunt cyclist tried to jump 13 London buses in front of 60,000 fans at Wembley Stadium.
Darren,
The crash smashed his pelvis, but the showman shunned a stretcher.
He's just said that he's going to walk out of the studio.
Cementing his status as a 70s superhero to thousands of boys who realised daredeviling was the career path of choice. And then there's Mike. He's older, but definitely not wiser.
No helmet.
Oh, hey! Why not?
Yay!
Why not?
Oh, this is good.
Oh no! Some kid. No, don't do that! Oh, hooray!
Just how dangerous is it exactly?
Not at all.
You've got to have some common sense in doing it. There's not just jumping on a bike and going over a plank.
Yeah, you've obviously got a lot of common sense.
Do you see yourself as the evil Knievel of Britain?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying that, no.
No, I wouldn't go as far as saying that. Because you got, mate.
What about your wife? How does she feel about it?
Oh, she don't have nothing to do with it. She wouldn't entertain it.
We stopped spending all our money on hay bales and petrol. This was the time when Evel Knievel was happening over in the States. Yeah. He had his career. Oh my, imagine if he'd seen this.
He's 48 and he's enjoying being 14, and I think we can all learn from that.
Now, what's happening here, Joe? What's this?
And it wasn't just the gents who were danger freaks.
It's the sort of thing I'd want to do. Like, hang about in a pair of pants and a T-shirt off the back of a car like it was a jet ski. What's not to like?
Meet the Motobirds, a kind of shambolic, hastily assembled all-girl stunt team who didn't mind getting their hands dirty or their legs.
Vera, are you all right?
Yeah.
Oh. Chris Tarrant, reporting for ITV's Evening News in the Midlands, was there to lend a hand.
You sure you still want to be a stunt girl? What happens if I press this, Joe?
I don't press it.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, I've forgotten that item. It's probably best forgotten. Nowadays, health and safety would have a lot to say, but at the time it was quite harmless, and you just put a girl down a cannon, set lights, throw a blower up, land in a safety net, whatever.
Still to come, TV moments we'll never see repeated.
Let us be honest, Logan. This is blackmail.
I nearly laughed. And I did.
Welcome back to the 1970s, where we're flicking the V's at danger and running away.
If he spits over me, I'll put a fucking pint glass in his head.
Sometimes the 70s looks like a decade where we were all spoiling for a fight, and not just on football pitches or scuffles in the playground. Children's television wasn't afraid to scramble about of rough and tumble onto our screens.
Right, let's try over here.
This is Emu. Even if you had a firm grip on him and your hand up his bum, he could still turn on you at a moment's notice.
It's amazing what you could get away with as a
Yeah, I mean, he's
personality.
petting at her face. I think she's loving it.
It could have ended with her just going, do you know what? I came into work to do a job, not to be mucked about by a fucking puppet. Fuck off.
That's all from Consumer Report today.
But was Emu the naughtiest puppet on TV? On the long-running preschool ATV series Pipkins, Hartley Hare took children into his confidence, despite resembling a terrifying haunted doormat.
You can't just stuff roadkill.
What is going on?
My name is Hartley Hare, and today I'm going to talk to you about being naughty.
Oh, God, it's so scary.
I've just been to the toy shop, and you know what I bought? I don't know. Should I show you? Yes, please. Here it is. Oh, it's a glove puppet. I just bought a glove puppet. You can do all sorts of things with a glove puppet. You can put it on your hand, and you can play with it. You know, you can be naughty with a glove puppet.
What?
What are they doing? Dearie me, Michael. We have been getting into lots of trouble, haven't we? Yes.
Oh, my word.
Tell me you're putting me on.
I can't believe that actually happened.
That can't be real. It can't be real.
It's hard to use the word innuendo for that because it's not hidden at all, is it? It's all right there. Innuendo, there should be some sort of double meaning.
We have been getting into lots of trouble, haven't we?
Oh, we have been naughty, haven't we, Michael?
Yes.
Hang on a sec, that voice is too accurate.
Well, I don't know what you mean.
What were you doing in the 70s?
Ventriloquist Keith Harris was a regular guest on the Black and White Minstrel Show, but instead of the lovable Orville, he's working with a Muhammad Ali puppet on a Saturday night just after 8.
Ain't that yet?
I mean, they've made his eyes like those rolling eyes that was in all those movies, The Token Black.
I've made a lot of money by fighting funny. Now my wives want their share, they all want their alimony. Actually, I'll tell you what, look, have you any advice now for the up-and-coming British fighters? Yes, sir, I sure have you? Yes.
What a great Ali accent, really, is it?
This is the advice that all mothers give to their children. What's that? Stay away from dark alleys. Yeah.
Oh, that's really bad.
Oh, my God.
Miss. Oh.
Well, you wouldn't be able to get away with that these days. Not at all.
In 70s Britain, ethnic minorities were more visible than ever before, though not universally welcomed. Support was increasing for the far-right National Front Party.
Do you think that you're going to see the day when the National Front forms a government in this country?
I don't just think, I'm sure of it.
By the 1979 general election, they had enough candidates to qualify for their first ever TV party political broadcast.
The next election, there'll be more than...
They lost their deposit in every seat, but programmes like World in Action thought the front substantial enough to probe their true intentions.
Above the desk of one party official I spoke to was a map covered with crosses, which he said were the sites of proposed concentration camps.
Jokes about how the Jews would feel when they were shoved into gas chambers, and what fun that the front would have when they were applying the final solution in Britain, like the Nazis had done in Germany.
Television's own attitude to race has come under much greater scrutiny since our 70s attempts at portraying ethnic minorities. Certain comedy sketches and even complete programmes from 40 years ago have seldom been seen again. With its fabulous guest stars, the 1975 Generation Game Christmas Special is an entertaining hour, but it's unlikely to be shown again on television. Name of the game here? Guess the blacked-up TV personalities.
Since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping.
If you looked closely, you might have spotted Ted Rogers.
Windsor Davis?
That's right, Norman Wisdom. Alvin Stardust.
Not Alvin.
John Hanson. Me neither. And Harry H. Corbett.
I suppose this shows something about how at ease most of the viewing public were with the black and white minstrels in the 70s, because there is this is just any kind of disguise. They could be doing anything.
70s audiences had their ribs tickled by 40 Towers in an 8 p.m. time slot. In the acclaimed episode The Germans, John Cleese and Connie Booth wrote a scene satirising the out-of-touch attitudes of their elderly resident major. The BBC, with approval from Cleese, cut it from future repeats.
Strange creatures, women.
Well, can't stand around all
I knew one once. I must have been keen on her because I took her to see India.
India?
At the Oval. And the strange thing was that throughout the morning she kept referring to the Indians as niggers. No, I said. Niggers are the West Indians. These people are wogs.
Oh, my God.
No, she said all cricketers are niggers.
A mid-70s major, back in the 1970s, would of course have used language like that and would have found women a rather strange species.
In those days, the N-word was not, it didn't have the shock factor it does now. Obviously quite correctly, but it just didn't then.
It's a product of its time. And, are we, by cutting scenes like that, denying that those attitudes existed? I think it's important that we remember that they did, and in a lot of our lifetimes, I suppose it helps to see how far we've come.
It's difficult for people of my generation, that, although I never did use those words, I don't think, but I was brought up with a particular nursery rhyme that used that word, and I had a gollywog, and I love my gollywog.
Meanwhile, The Goodies was irreverent, topical, clever and silly, and as their theme lyrics suggest, it was... Though the following sketch may explain why the show is rarely repeated on British TV.
If you need Mr. Wong, the plumber, or Mr. Kwang Chow, the butcher, or Mr. Li Fong, the dentist, or Mr. Chin, the insurance salesman, then you can find them all in the Yellow Pages.
All I can say is, that's just a bad joke.
It's an easy, cheap laugh. Ah, yes, look, they're yellow.
It's a pretty obvious joke that anyone could make, so not representative of what the goodies could do with a good joke.
And we're unlikely ever to see this Spike Milligan sketch again.
Let us be honest, Mr. Milligan. This is blackmail.
I nearly laughed. And I did. Comedy was easier in the 70s, wasn't it? Oh, crikey.
It's quite chilling how sort of light-hearted a racist joke it is. Do you know what I mean?
He puts his hand on his shoulder and sort of...
Yeah, and everyone's going, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah. Just a really awful pun.
I'll give you a tip. Daz, thank you.
Why did he say Daz? Were his clothes dirty? Oh, dear.
The whole Daz thing has just got awful connotations of sort of people of ethnicity that have skin darker than a white person's skin being dirty, or, I don't know, it doesn't sit comfortably.
If you're going to take offence at that, you won't be watching the Spike Milligan show. And of course, Spike had a lot of trouble with censorship.
Stop that walk!
Spike's immigrant sitcom The Melting Pot was considered to be off the scale, even for viewers at the time.
Sir, who has killed a nigger?
Well,
Okay.
okay.
Are you sure we are showing the right thumb?
This rather singular series opens with Spike Milligan and John Bird playing two hapless illegal immigrants who arrive in London and check into a multiracial guest house.
Down the wrinkle, over a curve.
The world of Spike Milligan is a very strange one, and his relationship with British multiculturalism is, I think, one of the oddest in the period. It's shaped by his experiences in India. He grew up in India.
There's a black man in the scene. Suddenly, he's washing, and all his blackness is coming up in the water, and I saw his nationality go down the platform.
Throughout his career, he is forever browning up. He's forever putting on the turban and impersonating, I suppose, versions of figures who he would have known as a child.
He's calling, man. It's gold dust, gold dust, gold dust. What a strange country. What a strange country.
Only one episode of this was ever shown because the BBC, I think, was slightly horrified by what he'd done.
At the height of the Mabongo uprising,
This epic and glossy cinema production advertises cigarettes, something we're less comfortable with nowadays.
It's like Zulu.
And it has fun at the expense of racial stereotypes, something else we're less comfortable with nowadays.
As the cinema audience has been informed, you Brits are going to be kept cooped up in that there fort for the next 2 weeks. These two gentlemen are here from the Benson and the Hedges bag-making company in the UK and England, and they think it a jolly good idea to give the old silk cut a bit of a bash for the next fortnight.
Is the protagonist wearing makeup? Wow.
And who is the actor in the blackface makeup? It's the Melting Pot's John Bird again.
Change into them. I switch tomorrow given half the chance, huh? Carry on, Sergeant.
Damn it.
So much is wrong.
So, there you have it, folks. Conclusive proof that it will take 2 weeks for you smokers to turn to the mild taste of silk cut.
That is so bad it made me laugh. I mean, it's the worst Mickey take of Rorke's Drift I think I've ever seen.
It would still be bad if they had cast a black actor as the lead role. It would still be bad. But the fact is you haven't, and he's doing a completely horrendous accent.
Well, even blacking up for fun now is considered to be a terrible thing to do. Look, things change. Things change.
But don't you go changing. Because after the break...
Now table football. It's a semi-final battle which promises to be so fast we brought in slow motion action replay.
I would love to bring this back.
Welcome back to the 1970s, where dangers lurked everywhere. Having borrowed nearly $4 billion from the IMF, even the economy was rubbish. Coal workers were on strike, and to conserve energy, the government imposed blackouts and a 3-day working week, which meant there was less to do and more time to do it in. But how were we going to keep ourselves amused? The first place a 70s man would go, where there was plenty to occupy his time. Table football, darts, bar billiards, and if you were feeling energetic, shove-apney. Yorkshire TV's The Indoor League covered all these sports on Thursday early evenings from 1973 to 1978. It made stars of men and, yes, women who, well, wouldn't have become stars any other way.
Yes, just a massive midriff.
Graham, there he is.
Oh, look at this arm wrestling on the telly. It was a golden age.
Amen to Amon.
Your host, cricket legend and autocue genius, Fred Truman.
So Des Stamp adds another famous scalp to his belt.
That's Lego hair, if ever I saw it.
You'll need to keep your eyeballs peeled to live with the action in today's indoor league.
Why has she got nipples out behind him? It was a different time.
Let's look at a young lad set in the depth, popular from the potteries of Staffordshire to the chip shops of Barnsley.
He needs this one back.
This is great. I would love to bring this back.
Look at how big he's so begrudging. Yeah. Basically using that foosball table to prop himself up because he's so pissed.
Medal, beating the favourite, Ray Edmond. And that's about it for this time. But we're going to leave you with a semi-final clash in the shove-apney between our old pal Buffalo Bill from Scunthorpe, on the board now, and trailing Bryn Turner of Durham.
Turner scoring on the left. He needs 3 points to get through to the final to meet fellow Durham player.
It's me, as I am now.
Oh, that was good.
That was really good.
If you're going to bring back anything that I've seen today, that is it.
Still, not every bloke in Britain wanted to spend all his time in the pub. Some wanted to get on with their home improvements.
What to do with wallpaper?
That's quite simple, isn't it? Don't you just pop it on a wall?
In Yorkshire TV's Toolbox, presenter Mike Smith offered us exceptional DIY advice at Sunday lunchtime, alongside his wife Jill.
Hello again. Well, this week I'm just in the preparation of wallpapering, or getting ready to wallpaper. Now, this is the only time when I wear one of these, and this is an apron. And the only good thing, as far as I'm concerned, about an apron, it contains this lovely pocket. It's like a kangaroo pouch, which contains all sorts of goodies.
Are you describing what a pocket is?
Watching really tedious telly, there's also something quite calming about it. Maybe that's its purpose, to calm people the fuck down and stop them fighting in pubs.
I'd love to show you something here, because lots of people don't realise what else you can do with wallpaper. This dress, this attractive dress what Jill's wearing, just show them. Now that is wallpaper.
That's a joke.
Oh, well, if we're using wallpaper similar to one you put on the walls, the great idea is to cut out perhaps a circle or flowers and stick it on a lampshade. Let the natural colour of the lampshade come through.
Stupid item. Cut out these patterns and stick one this side and one the other side to make an attractive hanging mobile.
An attractive hanging mobile.
And you can use this vinyl wallpaper.
Just tap in like she's a...
I wonder if they're still married.
I do know some people who have wallpapered the television set. This is quite attractive, but the thing to remember there is that you take the plug out before you do anything like this.
You could wallpaper anything. That's the nature of wallpaper. I could literally take everything I own and wrap it up like a present. But I'm not going to because I'm not a fucking idiot.
I mean, the 70s was a leery era, wasn't it? Pub brawls, men were men, drinking at work. Maybe that was just the government's way of just saying, everyone just chill out. Why don't you make a nice hanging mobile like your wallpaper?
In the 70s, exercise wasn't the national obsession that it is today. Going to the gym was something to be done at school, under duress. But a fitness craze was about to take hold.
Special clothes aren't essential if you want to jog.
On the Sunday morning educational show Let's Go, Brian Ricks showed us how it was all pain, no gain.
Go! Fine. It's enough for the moment.
The idea of leisure was prominent in the 70s because not only have you got the 3-day week, this enforced leisure, but there is this idea that somehow we're all going to spend much more time doing our own thing, that jobs are going to take up and work is going to take up less and less of the week.
10 years before Jane Fonda's workout videos took the world by storm, Boomph with Becca, 10:45 AM, BBC One, featured the Fanny Craddock of the fitness world, Sue Becker.
Welcome to Bump with Becca. Now, do you remember right at the beginning I said that we were going to do exercises for every part of the community? My dear, wait till you see what we've got here today.
How drunk is she?
We've got Philip, marvellous British Bobby, dear, salt to the earth. Say hello, Philip.
Hello.
Isn't he nice and tall? I think he's a bit shy.
What's this woman taken?
44-year-old Becca's mission was to get the unemployed and the elderly off their arses and doing some exercise.
You've got that married touch.
Any exercise.
I can't believe this.
Sit down now. It's tum-tum times. Wait till you see what's coming up now, dears. Tum-tum time.
Actually, I think all exercise is better pissed in an orange leotard.
You haven't even got off that chair yet. You are a disgrace.
I'm just in shock. It's just so ghastly.
I want some lovely bumpy music, Edwin. Oh, here we go. Come on, Anne, you go flick with me, dears. Alternate fingers. Flick, flick, flick. That's it. Oh, you're...
I can't watch you anymore.
Clench, clench, stretch, clench, stretch.
What are they? What are they?
She is great. Do you know why she's so great? Because she is pissed out of her head and yet her balance is superb.
I am going home to do this now.
Every show ended with a kind of interpretive dance. For no immediately apparent reason.
Is anybody getting turned on by this?
No. Sadly, Bump with Becca had too short a run on the BBC. Possibly in 1972, Sue was just too different, or maybe she was just too ahead of her time. So, after an hour of danger in the 70s, should we be looking back at these shows with a sense of outrage or a sense of humour?
I don't know whether we see sheer anarchy that much anymore on television. I think things are quite controlled.
I want to laugh at some of it. I feel appalled by some of it. But I know that it was the thing in which I swam.
Let's not look back at the 70s and think somehow we're better people than they were. I don't think we are.
The entertainment shows in general, I just look at them and I just think, as a viewer, even back then, I'd be looking at them thinking, oh, is this the rubbish my mum and dad watch?
I know it's a cliche, but times were very different. And I think there was a kind of innocence about it.
Well, the family's at odds this week here on 4 Who's Ready for War? There's still snow outside and Ted Danson's still got the best beard in television's history. Fargo, Monday at 10. TFI Fridays here next.